The next tool to improve your mental health is challenging yourself. And you might not have ever considered challenges to be a tool for your mental health. But when we set challenges for ourselves, we enter what's called a flow state. A flow state is kind of like an extreme state of presence and mindfulness. So in the previous part of this guide, we just spoke about presence and mindfulness, and we said that's when you're able to focus on what's going on at the task at hand, you'll have no thoughts. But a flow state is when you're so focused that you lose track of the time. Suddenly 2 hours have gone by and you're like, wait, what? It felt like 20 minutes and I did so much and I was so productive. At least you just did more work, or I did better than I've done in the last week. It's only when we enter a flow state that we really tap into our ultimate potential. A flow state is what athletes call being in the zone. You might have heard that saying. An athlete will say, oh, well, I just entered the zone. That's a flow state. That's extreme mindfulness and presence. And that comes from challenge. You can only enter a flow state, being in the zone, if you've got some kind of challenge. And there's so many more benefits to this, not just your mental health, but increases in testosterone. When you challenge yourself and when there's some kind of competition, your testosterone rises. Setting yourself some kind of challenges where you're so focused will lead to more success and accomplishments, and it'll make you feel just happier and more proud for yourself. So this might seem like a weird part of this guide. We're talking about mental health. Why am I talking about challenges? But you see, when you set challenges, it just kicks your brain into overdrive and lets you just totally focus on something rather than like ruminating on negative thoughts. So the way that you can improve your mental health and also the rest of your life, how masculine you are, how successful you are, how happy and accomplished you are, is through setting yourself some kind of challenges that you can obsess over. For example, you could be reading a book and say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to finish this book by the end of the week. Or you could say that you want to go on 3 runs this week. You want to run for a total of 10 kilometers this week, and you're writing it down, you're tracking the data, and it's exciting because you're thinking, wait, it's Saturday and I still got 2 kilometers. I don't want to go right now. But you know what? Okay, I'm going to go on a run right now. That kind of aggressive energy makes you feel good. Working hard on a meaningful goal naturally makes us feel good about ourselves, especially if you are the one who has set that goal, that challenge. You know, it's an interesting thing that you go a large part of your life without ever setting yourself to do any kind of work or challenge because the teacher in school does it for you. We've been conditioned, I don't mean to go on a rant here, but we've been conditioned to wait for an authority figure to tell us what to do, to set us challenges and work. We need to become that authority figure for ourselves. It's like stand up straight with your shoulders back and say to yourself, okay, I am going to do this thing by this date. We can't always rely on the teacher or the boss to tell us what to do. We need to start setting challenges for ourselves. So here's the actionable step. Just take a minute right now to think and maybe write down 1 or 2 challenges, goals that you can set for yourself by the end of this week. And if it's Saturday or Sunday right now, then do it for next Sunday. What is a challenge that you can set for next Sunday? Perhaps it's to finish reading this book, to work out 5 times, to go on 3 runs. Maybe you want to do a longer term challenge, like hit 1 million subscribers before November. That's mine. If you're watching this video in November, have a look at our channel's subscriber counts. It's going to be over 1 million. Set yourself 1 or 2 challenges right now, and they could be short term or long term. Whatever it is, it's just some kind of challenge that will make you take like some kind of work, productive thing more seriously. Set that challenge and start to obsess over it. When you start to work on that challenge, you will naturally just feel good. To improve your mental health, we absolutely have to talk about your physical health. And your physical health may actually be the single most important influence on your mental health. It's a sad state for the majority of young men who are just so physically unhealthy. You don't realize how far we are away from living like our ancestors was. The majority of us sit down for 10 hours a day. School makes you wake up when you're still sleep deprived. We don't get much sunlight anymore. We don't have like high levels of testosterone with competition and challenge with our brothers. We eat food that's been genetically modified with pesticides and pumped full of refined sugars. There's a lot of things that are very negatively affecting our physical health. And you'll find that if you improve some things of your physical health, which we'll discuss here, your mental health will improve as an indirect result of that. This section of the guide is probably going to give you the biggest improvements in your mental health. But the reason why I've put this section on physical health after the few sections we've already spoke about, which is gratitude, mindfulness, and challenge, is that you actually need to do these things first to be able to make progress in your physical health. Just like everyone else, you've probably tried to improve your physical health. You've probably tried to like lose weight or go to the gym or improve your sleep or eat cleaner. It's probably always felt like a bit of a struggle, like you're swimming upstream. If right now you're struggling with things like to be able to go to the gym consistently, to be able to eat clean, you know, there's that decision to be made. Should you eat the junk food? And you know, rationally, you know that you shouldn't. But if right now you're still at the level where you just keep choosing the wrong thing, if you struggle to improve your sleep, if you struggle to improve so many different parts of your physical health, if that is relatable to you right now, please trust me when I say that any effort you make to try to improve your physical health will be a waste of time. I know this sounds so weird. If you struggle to try to improve your physical health, it's a waste of time to try to improve it directly. If you're struggling to try to, for example, get onto a good clean diet, and you keep saying, oh, I'm going to go on a diet, but then you keep cheating on your diet. If you're struggling to consistently work out, focusing on those things will just constantly just keep you in this loop where you'll never achieve anything. What you need to do, if you're currently struggling with things like diet or working out or whatever, you need to focus on the previous 3 parts of this guide: gratitude, meditation, and challenge. If you focus on them instead, you'll find that you'll naturally be able to actually do more of the physical health habits. I wasn't able to improve my diet for literally years. For years, I tried to. Literally for years, I tried to follow all these fitness YouTubers who were telling me this diet's better than this one. And if it fits your macros or calories in, they're telling me all these things. And I simply just couldn't stop overeating. I simply just couldn't say no to the junk food. And no one had ever spoke about this before. I realized after my own experimentation, the one key secret to be able to improve your diet isn't all of these fancy diets. It's meditation. You need to have levels of mindfulness, gratitude, and some kind of challenge to be able to improve your physical health first. So focus on those sections. Now, if you're going to continue watching this part of the guide, you're making this promise right now that you already have started to meditate and do some kind of gratitude practice, and you've set yourself some kind of challenge, like, okay, a reasonable challenge. Like, okay, I want to work out twice this week. You should have all those things in place first before we really dive deep into these.